that process like?
We're knee deep in that process, first off, which is awesome. Just to what we talked about even early on is Cardinals have developed a lot of really great catchers over the course of their organization. That's an obvious fact. Myself and other people come from different organizations. We kind of like, well, what have we been doing to coach and teach this? And what do we want our new version of that story to look like? So even, talking with Ollie about this, even within the last month, of how do we ensure that, like guys you just mentioned, Jimmy Crooks, Leo Bernal, other younger players that are further away, by the time they get up here, they're able to not only do what's asked of them, but excel at what's asked of them, like Petey can do with how he goes about his preparation and his knowledge of each and every pitcher's strengths. And that's really where it starts. It's what are the base rates of what are effective pitches to each handed hitter? What are the counts where they play most effectively, and like basic game theory understanding for our catchers. And then if I'm the catcher and each of you guys are my pitchers, how you get outs is going to be really different than how you get outs. And that's just like the individual nature of every pitcher's arsenal. And then you need to leverage the base rates and make them specific to the actual pitcher that you're then game calling for. And then there's the fun part of like the in-game adjustments of, okay, it feels like these guys came out and for whatever reason, their approach was they were going to be on this guy's slider tonight. And that might be his best pitch right on right. And you might deviate off that because there's real information that suggests that that's what the team is looking, that's what their game strategy was in the opposite direction. So I think you can't get to that part that Pedro does really well without being really awesome at some of those foundational elements of right on right, what tends to beat right-handed hitters. And then when you're facing a right-handed hitter, you, the pitcher, what's your story of that? And then you have to like practice that a bunch. We have to build, I'll use the feedback loop thing again. We have to build tight feedback loops so that the next day our coaches and players get together and like after action review exactly what happened and have, as long as there's rationale and it's evidence-based with some feel around it of like, here's why I adjusted here. Awesome. But we want to stack the deck in our favors before the guy starts his windup. And we can do that by being really crystal clear on what is this pitcher's strengths? How does he tend to get guys out most effectively? And then what are the base rates that just, you're trying to add like